everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week I'm coming to you from Love Trails Festival in the Gower in Wales, which is the most incredible running festival, and I've done another vlog about that, so if you're interested in the festival, go and check that out. But today I'm interviewing the incredible Imo Boddy, who has this year become the fastest woman to complete the Three Peaks Challenge, which is scaling the highest peaks in England, Scotland and Wales. But what most people do is they drive between them. What Imo decided to do was to run between them. So she has completed over 680 kilometers of running with 10,500 meters of elevation gain, which is over the height of Everest. And she is an incredible person and so lovely. So it's been lovely to meet her here, and I cannot wait to share this interview with you. Just as a warning, halfway through we have some technological malfunctions, so the location and the outfits change because we've had to record this on 2 different days. I hope that doesn't detract from the interview for you, because honestly this woman has so much to say and she is so young and has done incredible things already. So I cannot wait to see what's next for her. But without further ado, let me introduce Imogen. Thank you so much for joining me here today at Love Trails. How's your weekend going so far?
Good. I was saying it is slight sensory overload. It's very, very busy. I feel like I'm pleased the drum bass has calmed down a bit. Oh my gosh, I literally can hear it from the tent booming.
Are you
in bed like?
Would you say you're like very much like a runner and a raver sort of person?
To be fair, I actually am. I am a runner and a raver. Like, I do love a good time. But I'm like, last night we went to the country pub and that was like good vibes. But then we went to like that bit, the drum bass, and I was like, right, so I'm off.
Too much. Back to the tent.
Midnight and I'm done.
Is this your first time at Love Trails?
Yeah, I came last year.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah,
so you know what it's all about. But it has grown quite a lot.
Oh my God,
it?
it's grown so much.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
In the intro, I spoke about your Three Peaks Challenge, and I'm definitely going to talk about that a lot. But first of all, I actually want to go back a little bit. Like, when did you get into endurance sports? And like, when did you realise that you were actually kind of really good at it?
So I've always been really sporty. I've always loved sport. And when I was 17, I did GCSEs and then moved school and went to a school in Cumbria. And I didn't do A-levels, I did BTEC in sport. And like, I've always loved sport and like, kind of wanted to study sport and go into a career in sport, whether it be like running or whether it be kind of personal training, run coaching, whatever it was. And a lady came to do a talk when I was at school and she'd done the Arch to Arc. So she'd run from London to Dover, swam the English Channel and then cycled from Calais to Paris, which is like mega. And like little old 17-year-old me was like so inspired and I was like, I want to do that. And like 17-year-old me like wasn't really viable to do that. So I did a 10K lake swim, a marathon and a 30-mile bike ride at school.
At 17?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is basically like, it was like kind of a mini triathlon in like sense of that. And yeah, that was kind of my first intro into the endurance world. Then left school, became personal trainer, and then moved to London in 2021. Worked at One London in Fulham, like literally as a front of house. Met Josh Patterson, who's one of my best friends, and went from there basically. Did 7 marathons in 7 days in 2021, and then ran the length of the UK in 2022.
Of course you did, and you were the youngest female ever to have done that.
Yeah.
So you're not new to this sort of whole...
Well, I'm not, but also like it's only been 3 years kind of properly
you've just
running.
crammed it full of a lot of impressive feats.
So I feel like I've done oodles, but I've done quite a lot, but I've still got so much more experience, and that's the kind of thing that like I want to gain.
Amazing.
Like it's cool getting these records and whatever, but actually experience and kind of handling all the, you know, the darkest situations or whatever, the hardest situations is kind of what I need to gain now to get better.
And you've focused quite a lot on FKTs and being the first to do various things, which is super impressive. But do you do many races and organised events?
So that's, well, next. I actually don't want to do an FKT or a challenge again, well not again, but like in the near future. I want to race. Like I think I have loved doing that kind of thing, and that was kind of an itch I wanted to scratch, but actually getting myself in a field of like the best of the best athletes and actually like racing is kind of where
that's
like,
where you're going
next. And where you can see where you're at, and like you know, it's all well and good doing an FKT, but I think there's also a slight unfair advantage in the sense of like, you know, how much capacity you can get for sponsorship or whatever, whereas actually, I mean, there's an element of still not a fair playing field, but you know, you've got a fair playing field when it comes to racing. So
absolutely. Well, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see how you do. What inspired you to take on the Three Peaks Challenge?
I did JOGLE. I ran 6.
Can you just explain what that is?
I know, everyone's like, what's joggle?
I did joggle. I went for a jog.
So John O'Groats Land's End. So I started top of Scotland in John O'Groats and finished in Land's End, bottom of England, well, one of the length of the UK. I ran 60k a day for 22 days back in, June, July in 2022. And became the youngest female to have done it. And I think in hindsight, like, it was so tough. And don't get me wrong, 60k, for anyone that's listening, is amazing. But compared to the 3 Peaks, it was...
What was different about it compared to the 3 Peaks challenge?
I think for joggle, so I did 60k a day, started at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m, whatever time we started, and I'd finished by 3 o'clock, say, and then I had so much recovery time, whereas this one was like time on feet. So I'd start at, well, we had no start time, but it was rolling time the whole time, and you had no recovery time. And I think that was, for me, that was the biggest thing, like the swelling because you haven't got recovery time, and the kind of fueling because you haven't got recovery time, and just like, we had serious heat, so the heat stroke, and then you didn't have recovery time. So I think that was the biggest factor.
Would you say that you struggled with the sleep aspect a lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like, sleep is like, I love my sleep. Like, it's so it's so funny when you're younger, like when you're like 10 and you're like wanting to have a midnight feast or like wanting not to go to bed, I'm just like, what was I doing? Like, I literally love bed.
Wasting all that time I could have been asleep.
Literally. So I love sleep, and sleep is like my biggest, like, a harmony, I'm like my biggest pride. So it was quite, I mean, it wasn't the most difficult thing, definitely. And like, I've never had delirium before, but like, obviously lack of sleep, you get that. So yeah, it was definitely something I've never experienced.
Would you rather then, going forward, do a stage race where you get to sleep at the end of every day, or would you rather do one that just goes straight through and get it done?
Well, I actually want to go into 24-hour running.
Oh my God!
So I'm like, I hate missing my sleep, and I'm doing 24-hour running.
Oh, you're mad.
But I feel like I'm so conditioned. I think particularly I'm based in London, so albeit I'd love to spend more time on the trails, like logistically I am based in London, and so for the time being it just makes sense to kind of get my boring long miles in flat, like London. And I'm so conditioned to doing boring long stuff, so I'm just capitalising on it basically, and hoping, see where it takes me.
And most of your training, so how do you train for a run that climbs the 3 tallest peaks in the UK, but also then you have to run between them? Like, how do you train for that?
So, logistically living in London, obviously the flat, because to be honest, apart from the 3 Peaks, it was quite a flat as such race.
Yes, because you covered over the height of Everest, but all in one go really, on each peak.
Exactly.
Actually over the full distance, which is a very long way. That's actually not a very hilly run.
Exactly. So being in London, it was quite lucky that I could just do those flat miles, or flat road miles. And then a lot of treadmill incline sessions, putting the treadmill to 15% and just hiking. And then I went to Ben Nevis twice, Scarfell once, Scarfell twice, sorry, and then we did a recce, so we did all the peaks as well another time. And then, it was just, I went to the peaks quite a bit where my coach lives, and just a lot of treadmill sessions.
That's incredible.
I mean, I got so much, like, apart from obviously you can't practice the descents, actually the ascent I got so strong going on the treadmill.
That's what I did last year when I was training for OCC in Chamonix. I just went on the treadmill, I guess, and the Stairmaster. Also very good for practicing mental fortitude, because it is so boring.
Yeah, completely.
So if you can do that.
It's so good. And then you really surprise yourself because you haven't been out on the trails for 2 weeks, say, and then you get out there and you're like, oh my God, I'm like really, like, I have improved so much. But I
think people do actually not give treadmill enough credit. You know, people think it's cheating, and like, sure, it's slightly easier if you're on complete flat treadmill. Yes, it's easier than running outside because it minimizes like any sort of variable, but actually it really has its time and place. I do a lot of treadmill running myself, and I actually think it's really great. Yeah,
completely. It's annoying that the descents don't help, because my biggest weakness when it comes to trail running is like technical downhills.
Yes, see, that's my strongest point. So I never need to practice that when I'm out and about, but I need to practice the uphills.
But that's what I did, and it worked very well. Amazing. I didn't train for the heat wave, but
that's difficult. I went to a talk this morning actually that was talking about heat exhaustion, heat stroke in runners, and how actually our race season is at the worst possible time, because in April, where, you know, London Marathon is, Brighton Marathon, I think Manchester Marathon, they are all when you've done a full winter of training, and then quite often the sun comes out, it's 18 degrees, you know, it's not that hot, but you've not practiced for that, and it actually really affects your body.
Completely.
So the woman who held the record for the 3 peaks before you was a woman called Anne Sayer, right? And she only died in 2020, but she seems to have had a really interesting life. Can you tell me a little bit more about her?
Yeah, so she was an Olympian, a power walker, and by no means feat. I say this the whole time, like power walking is mega and so fast. So yeah, she was an amazing athlete, and she power walked 3 peaks. But yeah, as I said, like it's no mean feat. So she was super fast, an amazing athlete. I was very, very conscious of kind of like sort of celebrating her legacy and raising awareness about her. But yeah, we never contacted her. We kind of said, to be fair, we were like, we should contact Anne's family. I think she's got a daughter. But no, we've had no contact.
Never happened. Oh, well, I'm sure that they'd be really interested in hearing what you did. But halfway through the challenge, you found out that Anne's record was not the one that you needed to be breaking or something. So what actually happened there?
So there's a very, we were in the Lake District, and there's a guy called Martin Stone, who's a very well-known kind of guy in the endurance in the endurance space. And he came to the lakes and he spoke to Chris, my coach, and kind of gave him the news that Arthur and Anne knew each other, and they had I think they'd actually kind of raced each other twice doing it. I think Anne had broken it, Arthur broke it, Anne then broke Arthur's record, and then Arthur then broke Anne's record. But there was nothing on the FKT website, nothing on Guinness, and yeah, nothing really on Google until you kind of like really dug deep. But yeah, he broke it, and there's like enough evidence to say that he broke her record. And so I was told, yes, about day
halfway
3 or 4,
through a record-breaking attempt. It's not the record,
But ultimately, I set out to break Anne's record, which was 7 days, 31 minutes, and everyone was, I think there was a massive group discussion whenever it was, day 3 or 4, about how they were going to tell me, and it was kind of, are we going to tell her? Are we not going to tell her? Are we going to push her to break Arthur's record? And actually, I kind of like made the decision myself, and was what I said.
I think it's really difficult halfway through something like that to be switching what it is that you're planning on doing. You know, these things, as you know, take a long time to plan, and you know you're going at a set pace to try and beat a particular record.
Exactly. We had a day-by-day schedule as to, I mean, obviously it changed because inherently it's going to change, but a day-by-day schedule of kind of like where we were going to be at what time and kind of where we were going to finish. And actually, for me, I mentally prepared myself to do X amount of distance that day and whatever. So yeah, but it did put a bit of a spell on the works.
But you're still really happy with how it went?
Still really happy. Fastest female was like, it was always a dream to break the record anyway, so.
Do you have your eyes set on any other FKTs?
Not at the moment, no. FKTs are a very different ball game to kind of racing, and I want to get into the racing, kind of get myself into a field of kind of lots of amazing athletes kind of worldwide and see where I stand with that. Maybe in the future, but for the time being, no.
Fair enough, that's absolutely fair enough. I think you mentioned in some previous interviews that you've done that there were some kind of tough, like low moments, and then, you know, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, I think you said. How do you pull yourself up with those tough moments when you're in the middle of something? You're not racing against anyone else.
True is, I think, so I've actually had a conversation about this last night, because we were talking about it, and a lot of people say kind of delve deep into your why, this and that, and genuinely I just say you just got to dig deep and just like get it done. Like for me, I obviously have my why, and I have like, you know, everyone has their reasons, but for me it's just like you've got an option, and you've got like, you know, you either do it or you don't. And so it's just like, honestly, I would say to people, just do it, just get it done and dig deep. Like I think there's nothing more to it than just do it. Like,
were there any points where you wanted to quit?
When we got to the last day, we did. We had a plan initially to go for not to go for the night, and have a night's sleep. Well, a night's sleep. But we then decided that we would go through the night. So it meant that we did a 32-hour stint, basically, from whenever we started. I think it was 3 in the morning, kind of on the Monday, was it? No, must have been Sunday. Anyway, whatever it was, and then it went continuously for 32 hours until we hit Carnarvon. And there was a moment in the middle of the night, and I can't really remember, we'd had an amazing afternoon because there was a police escort in Wales who came to join us, and we had a police escort. It was really cool, so that was a massive high. I then had a nap, and cat naps were amazing because they did really revitalise me, but actually you'd have like an hour's nap and then you'd wake up stiff, groggy. I had like that hungover feeling the whole time because I was so dehydrated. So it was kind of, you had to get up and get yourself going again. Anyway, it was like 2 in the morning and I broke down on the floor, and I just said to Chris, I was like, I just need. It wasn't I can't keep going because I didn't have a single moment I thought I couldn't do it, but I just wanted to sleep. And Chris, I was like, can you please bring the camper van to us? I know I'm at my limit. If you bring the camper van to me, I can have a half an hour power nap and then I'll go again. And he was like, who knows? The Welsh roads are too narrow, sorry.
Yeah.
The camper van can't get down this road. You either have a 10-minute power nap on the floor or you continue going for 5K and then you can have a nap when you get there.
That's some tough love.
The thing is that I think that is the endurance space, and I think actually like that is quite normal.
Yeah.
But just being told it, you're like,
yeah.
like, what? Anyway, at the time I continued going and ran for 5K.
Well done. That's very impressive. It's so funny because it's like it's 5K. You know, you always think that you can do 5K.
Also, I was never going to have a 10-minute power nap on the floor. I had no other layers. Because have you got layers? I was like, no, you carrying all my kit. This is all I've got.
So did you run just like this? Did you? You didn't have a pack?
Yeah. So
Okay,
I'm like, I actually spoke about it yesterday in my talk. It was obviously it wasn't self-supported, it was supported. And I love having a crew. And as much as I love digging deep and grinding out these challenges and breaking the record, for me, like a crew and a family element is so important.
People think running is an individual sport, but actually, especially endurance racing, it is really a team sport.
So I didn't carry anything. Chris carried all mine. He was on the bike next to me, or whoever was next to me at the time, which was great. So I was just kind of...
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Dream. Why is it, do you think, that you are drawn to this kind of event?
I think, so JOGLE, which we all know what JOGLE is now, very bang on about at the start. JOGLE and Three Peaks were very different. The JOGLE, I'm the youngest female to have done it, which I'm very proud of. I hold a world record, but I could have done it in 100 days. Like there was no like time schedule, time limit as such for the youngest. Whereas, so I kind of finished JOGLE. I did it in 60K a day for 22 days, which, as I said, I am really proud of. But my body broke down on kind of day 10, recovered, and then when I finished, I was recovered. Like I was kind of almost like ready to go again. Whereas Three Peaks, it was a time, there was like more pressure. I had you're always kind of racing the clock. So I think FKTs wise, like I love racing the clock. And I love seeing where I love pushing myself. And I think I've had a lot of opportunities and a lot of what ifs in the past, and kind of now I want to see what I can achieve and what I can...
I'm so excited to see like what's coming up for you, honestly. Like I've had my eyes on like the things that you've been doing for a while. And I don't know if you feel like this. I feel like the feats of endurance that you've done haven't actually received like the amount of attention that they deserve. I don't know if you have thought that. I don't know if you even have anything to measure it against. But certainly on social media, yes, you have a lot of followers, but like the things that you've done, your Hardy Skeezer, I know he ran the entire length of Africa, but he's got like 1.2 million followers or something. You've got like, what, 80,000 followers or something. I do feel like people, I don't know if it's a male-female thing or whatever, but I don't think that people have really clocked like what you have just done. I don't know if you feel like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, JOGLE, there was like nothing, like absolutely nothing. And Three Peaks, we definitely got more. But we pushed for it. We worked so, like we did like, you know, so much reaching out. Even initially like reaching out to brands. I think like when I reached out to my initial sponsor, they were like, you've got nothing to prove about as you are as an athlete or whatever. So like there was nothing, they were like, almost, you're nobody. Like who are you? You come from nowhere. So I think there's an element of, you know, brands not believing in me, and to us, I think a lot of people like haven't believed in me. So yeah, I think there hasn't been oodles of exposure.
Do you think that drives you on to kind of prove things?
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm like so, I don't know if it's stubborn or whatever you could call it, but I call it stubborn. Like I'm so like, I love proving people wrong. Like I'm just like, you didn't think it could happen. Let me show you it's gonna happen. Literally. I love that. That's so great. I'm exactly the same. I'm a Taurus, so you know, very stubborn. What is your fuel of choice like on the long run? What did you eat? I had this question at so many talks now, because I think when it comes to, well, for FKTs, when it was 3Ps, because I wasn't moving at like a big pace as such, we actually ate a lot of solids. Like, I mean, I had McDonald's like I didn't even eat McDonald's. I generally don't even eat McDonald's. And I had McDonald's like 3 times. It was like the salty craving, like chips or whatever. Like I literally just like, we had chicken selects. Like we ate like, you know, and you're just like,
you need to get the calories in.
Like I just ate anything. A lot of ice lollies.
Yes, because it was very hot.
A lot of, literally. So we had so much, to be fair, we had so much support this time round. People were just like handing out ice lollies to us and whatever.
Lovely.
But like proper solids, chicken sandwiches. It was, I remember one day we had like a 2-hour power nap, like a power nap in the night. And I woke up in the morning and we were eating carbonara at like 3 a.m. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Cold carbonara for the night before.
It's a fine line between being really hammered and running an ultra marathon.
It's feral. We were like, we haven't brushed our teeth for like 5 days.
Oh my God. But you know, it's just those 5 days.
I know.
You know, like, you know that you can handle it for that amount of time.
Totally.
And how did you cope with the lack of sleep?
So I love sleep. I literally, it's my biggest superpower.
Did you like train sleep deprivation?
No. To us, I spoke to Chris about it, Coach Chris, and I was like, do I need, like, what do you think about, like, what's your kind of thoughts on it? And I think when it comes to it, it's such a situational thing, and like you just have to get on with it. Yeah. I did have like quite a lot of like dizziness and like whatever, slight loss of vision at some points, but you just kind of caffeine or like sugar, like there's always like, it is usually caffeine or sugar what you need, or having a quick power nap.
Do you ever worry that it's like bad for your body?
No, because I do really honour my body and look after it. Like since I finished 8 weeks, I've eaten so much. You know, like I obviously lost quite a lot of weight and I've, you know, gained it back and more. I have been like looking at like very much, if I need to sleep, I would sleep.
Yeah.
I say probably no to more things than I say yes to.
Yeah.
And I'm very conscious of kind of looking after myself. I'll do bike sessions instead of a run if I need to, or rest. Like I'm aware that I'm young, and a lot of people do say to me, "Oh, you're so young," kind of like, you know, doing all these distances. But I do look after myself, and I think food and fuel is like your biggest harmony. And I am so like, I do really like kind of.
You're hot on that. Yeah,
so,
that's really good. I think that's something that people forget, is that it's not just about like how much you're training, how much you're recovering, but actually how much you're eating, and how much you're taking on. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. So it's good that you're actually really open about that.
And like, you know, we've all had our kind of struggles in the past or whatever, like, you know, food or this and that. Well, not we all, but you know.
Yeah, a lot of
and
people.
I mean, I love it. I literally like, food is fuel. And,
yeah.
You know?
yeah. Well, you're not going to be able to do the things unless you feel them properly. I think that's such a healthy attitude. So I know that these projects take an age to plan, and the admin is something that really puts me off. That's why I love racing so much, is because someone else has set out the course, they've put water around the course, they've got food, snacks, you know, all that kind of stuff, and you basically run from the start until someone tells you to stop. But with you had to plan like every aspect of the route and the crewing and everything. Do you like that side of it, or would you rather just run and have someone else plan all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Like there's so much more than just training. There's so much to consider. Financially, they're super expensive as well, and like not only kind of logistics, which is why I wouldn't do it again. I think it was like an itch I needed to scratch. I really wanted to do a fastest record. JOGLE was cool. I loved it, but I needed to like get a fastest kind of time. But yeah, I mean, it's at least with races you have periodization. You know, as you said, you've got there's no admin for it. Well, there is admin, but like minimal admin. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty stressful.
Yeah. So you
it's far more stressful than the training. The training not just put one foot in front of the other, but you know, you get it done. Yeah. And the planning is just
it's a lot.
Yeah, and also, as you know, I was talking about exposure, we did try and do quite a lot of reaching out to try and get, you know, we started with, my family are from Yorkshire, we started with BBC Look North to get the like northern kind of
viewpoint.
Yeah, and then they kind of reached out to BBC, and we were lucky we went on to BBC Breakfast, but like, you know, it's like,
that's hard work.
Yeah.
It's something that when I've spoken to other athletes, they've sort of not necessarily resented, because they know that it's necessary to get the sponsorship, etc., but kind of resented the fact that that's kind of necessary.
Yeah, oh my God, I wish, I mean, obviously anyone wishes a dream to be there. I wish you could just run and not have the admin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could, but it'd be very expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not been long since you've done the challenge and you've been recovering really well. Do you kind of have itchy feet to go and do something again, or are you very much happy with like just recovering for now and enjoying life?
I know next year I want to go into 24-hour running, so like at the moment I'm very happy just like being me, because I know I've got next year, but you know, the whole of start this year I focused on 3 peaks. I would like to do a fast marathon at the end of the year if my body recovers, but I'm not kind of like overly stressed. I think this is my A goal for the year.
Yeah.
Like kind of this, like Chris uses a saying, like there's like 5 candles you have, and you know I've blown out 4.5 of them. So you know if my half candle kind of can like allow me to do a fast marathon, then great. If it doesn't, then which I think is a really good attitude. Like last year, as I said, I had burnout and I had 5 candles and probably blew them out. 1,000 times.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think again that's really good because a lot of people who love racing want to race all the time, and I'm exactly like that, and definitely for me it really ruined my body. So I've had to take off an extended period of time, which is necessary, so you don't want to get to that stage.
Exactly.
And 24-hour running is so tough as well. Like you don't want to go into that already exhausted.
Exactly. So I think because of that, I'm like very happy at the moment, just kind of doing whatever. But if I didn't have that vision, I'd be like, what's next?
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of...
Well, you've already gone for a run this morning, which I think is quite impressive. What do you have planned for the rest of the weekend?
Rest of the weekend, I've got another talk soon. We're actually talking, interestingly, about the rise of runfluencers, they're called.
Great word.
and challenges, which, to be honest, I'm quite impartial about. I think I haven't got too much to say. I'm kind of like, I'm all for people running and exercising and inspiring. So yeah, that's been a very interesting topic.
Nice, but no more runs today?
No more runs today.
Okay, thank God. Thank God. All right, we're going to do some quickfire questions, okay? No one ever does these quickfire, but I'll see how you can do.
I definitely do quickfire, but let's try it. Let's give it a go.
What is your go-to running shoe?
Go-to running shoe, these.
Oh, nice. What are these?
The S-Lab Ultra 3s.
Are they trail shoes or are they road shoes?
Trail shoes. Super light, they kind of fit like a slipper. I love them.
And what's your favourite road running shoe?
Probably the S-Lab Phantasm trainers from Solomon, which are kind of a newish trainer of theirs. It's like their only carbon road trainer.
What's your favourite time of day to train?
Morning, always.
Like early morning or mid-morning?
Well, mid-morning would be a dream, but early morning.
What is your favourite post-run snack or meal?
Ooh, a bacon sandwich. I love a bacon sandwich,
Okay, fair. I guess like salt, protein, carbs, fair. Hummus or guacamole?
Oh, hummus.
Yeah, correct. Name one thing that makes you happy every day.
Fresh air.
Oh, I love that.
I love fresh air. I think even living in London, the first thing I do is open the door or open the window. I'm very lucky. I have kind of 2 doors in like my kitchen that can open out into a very little garden, which fresh air.
Nice. I love
like whether
that.
it be like walking, running, or just literally just having fresh air.
Being outside. I love that. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate you taking your time, and have a lovely rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
And thanks to you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit the thumbs up button. Go and check Imo out on social media. She deserves a lot more followers for the amazing things that she has achieved. And I will see you next time with more running content. Bye.
Bye.